Fun. The ranch, 9 Mile we call her, sits over between Gillette and Douglas. It's just south of the Pumpkin Buttes. And it was pretty isolated in my young years, and as with many and any agriculture-based business, it takes everyone to make it work. But the term equal rights becomes kind of an oxymoron, especially when it comes to the differences between men and women and how we communicate. And I'm sure all of you in the room are going to be able to relate to this. Rick found a book years ago, and it was titled Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And after he'd read it, he was so excited he laid it down on the table and said, "You need to read this." And I did, and then I wrote this. This is my version. It's titled, Shouldn't We Go to the House for a Horse? When it comes to the two-legged species of man and the variance in language that we speak, it's a wonder we ever get anything done or stay together for longer than a week. An example that readily comes to mind, working livestock and dealing with the same, was Doctrine, a sickly yearling heifer we found one spring morning in the rain. Immediately our minds both went to work. 2 different directions with no hope for recourse. Him stating, "You drive and I'll rope her right here." And me asking, "Shouldn't we go to the house for a horse?" Well, he took that like a slam to the midriff, you know. Masculinity threatened, his impatience foretold the pace of the day when he charmingly said, "This'll work if you simply do what you're told." The hairs on the nape of my neck stood up and blocked all hearing and reason as well. So I barely remembered the rest of the plan as I fired up Old Blue and circled pell-mell. "Line her out," he directed from the back. And so I tried, being careful not to make a mistake. But just as he threw, that heifer ducked right. Well, seeing he missed, I stepped on a brake. He gathered up quickly in a scary-like calm, pointing and indicating we should try her again, so I drove on real slowly to separate her. But this was a deal I couldn't win. "Can't you go any faster? We don't have all day." So I gave it some gas, with no analysis. But my rearview mirror told the story quite plain, because I left him standing in the pasture in a mess. And it was about that time the dog left the scene, tail tucked as he scattered up over the hill. And if I'd had any sense, I'd have followed along. But now, 'twas a matter of will against will. "Do you think we can do this? Time's wasting, you know." And I thought, "You bet, buddy. Just swing your rope." As I once again sorted our girl from the herd, and I straightened her out in a nice, easy lope. And things looked like they'd work, at least from my view. She was headed okay when he made his pitch. I silently prayed, watching action unfold, when suddenly, abruptly, we crossed a ditch. Now, the language exchanged can't ever be shared, and it's needless to say we were both some shook up, but there's no accounting for stubborn when mad, and as who would have winner at that point was a toss-up. One advantage, the heifer was slowing down some. Remember, she was ailing and in need of our help. But despite her tongue wagging, she found second wind just as the next launch crossed over her scalp. Well, that's when we should have just quit and gone home, but pride was established and had now reached its peak. And who could have guessed with those wide open miles that today'd be the day I'd drive into the creek? 3 hours later, with the heifer still free, the two of us walked in discordant discourse. He cussed my driving, the rope, the rain, and the cow, and by now I was whining. If we'd gone for that horse... Thank you.